First Dry, written by Chuck Garofalo. Introduction. Chapter 8. Imagine that you are standing in a desert. What kinds of things do you see around you? Camels, cactuses, and sand dunes. This is what most people think of when they imagine the desert. But deserts are far more rich and varied than the sandy landscape you might imagine. A desert is any area where more water evaporates or dries up than fall rains. Deserts can be hot, cool, or cold. In fact, both the North and the South Poles are considered deserts because of the water there is frozen. Deserts make up almost one-third of the land on Earth, covering mountains, canyons, and glaciers. In this book, you will find out more about the surprising inhabitants of three amazing deserts: the Sahara, the Gobi, and the Atacama. The Sahara, one of many maps of Africa, the entire top third of the continent, is colored yellow or pale beige. This color represents the vast, dry land of the Sahara Desert, by default the largest in our world. This is where we get many of the images of the desert. Great ocean-like landscape of yellow sand dunes covered one-fifth of the Sahara. The Tuareg people live in deep blue, flowing robes and turbans. These caravans of camels cross the sandy desert to trade salt, but the Sahara is much more than sand. It might surprise you to learn that the world's largest deserts contain one of the world's longest rivers. The Nile flows along the eastern edge of the Sahara, bringing life-giving water to crops and cities along its bank. This river allowed the great civilizations of ancient Egypt to survive among the dunes. In ancient Egypt, as today, people migration or watering channels to carry water from the river back to thirsty crops, animals, and people. There is also water hidden deep underground in the Sahara. In some places, it seeps close to the surface, creating an oasis or small part of Greenland. But don't get the idea that Sahara is moist and pleasant. In some areas, no rain falls for years, and the temperature can get as high as 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and powerful winds wipe out the sun, blocking the storms. The Sahara is home to thorn trees, shrubs, and low-growing grasses. Several kinds of antelope survive here, as do many rodents, birds, and reptiles. One kind of reptile, a skink, is known as a sandfish because it can swim through the sand. People have lived here in the Sahara for centuries. Northern Africa is a natural trading area for people from Africa, Europe, and Asia. Rich ancient cities survive on migrated crops and the wealth of spices, fabrics, and precious metals, the gems passing through. During the Middle Ages, Northern Africa was a center of art, writing, science, and learning. Today, a treasure lies hidden under the Sahara. The desert hosts the world's largest reserve of oil, a liquid that many people depend on heavily for fuel and energy. Some countries of Sahara have become Some countries in Africa have become incredibly wealthy from selling oil. Unfortunately, many nations have fought over wars over these valuable resources. The Gobi, Mongolia, and northern China, which lie deep within the immense continent of Asia, are home to the high, dry Gobi Desert. It might surprise you that the Gobi is cold. It might get as low as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 40 degrees Celsius. Like the Sahara, the Gobi Desert was often crisscrossed by traders bringing goods to and from Asia. But unlike the Sahara, the Gobi is too hot and remote supply cities. Many parts of the Gobi are high, dry, and mountainous. The soil is rocky and salty, so there are few plants than other tough grasses and shrubs. But these grasses are enough to support grazing animals such as the mourning horses, antelope, and geese. Also feeding grasses are many kinds of gerbils and another small rodent called the gerbil. Most of the people who inhabit the Gobi are nomads, people who move from place to place, often in search of food. Some of these nomads rely on horses for almost everything they need to live: meat, milk, hides for tents, and transportation. Meat, meat. Wait, these nomads who live in Mongolia are excellent horse trainers who rope and race horses as well as any radio rider. The Gobi has very few natural resources such as oil, but the fascinating source of treasures here, fossil, the dry climate and lack of humans have preserved decayed fossils for millions of years. Today, scientists flock to the Gobi for new discoveries. It was here the first dinosaur eggs were found, and where the fossil of a feathered reptile led scientists believe that birds may be related to dinosaurs. The Atacama. Just west of South America's Atacama Desert is the largest body of water in the world, the Pacific Ocean. The Atacama lives along the Pacific coast, squeezed in a narrow band between the ocean and the high Andes Mountain. Temperatures in the Atacama are pleasant, between 50 degrees and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 to 20 degrees Celsius. One would think that being near the ocean could give the Atacama some moisture, but this desert is possibly the driest place on Earth. In some places in the Atacama, it may have never rained in human memory. Some moisture does visit the Atacama in the spring. Snow on the Andes melt and flow in. The river crosses the desert to the Pacific, but these rivers don't fill with water often, and they are usually steep and narrow and quick moving, so the water does not have a chance to spread out and stick in. The only reliable form of moisture is fog that draws in off the cold ocean. Many plants have developed ingenious ways to catch this fog. Some plant leaves gather droplets of fog and direct them toward their roots. Small cloud forests. This can go in sheltered area along the coast where the fog is thick enough. Other than the cloud forest, almost no plant life grows in the Atacama. Some plants exist as dormant or inactive seeds that spring to life after a rain shower, which may come only once every 10 years. There are few animals in the Atacama besides rodents and insects. The chinchilla, a popular pet, lives here. Llamas and alpacas, furry relative of camel, can also be found in dams, areas near rivers, and high in the mountains. But the Atacama lacks in the animals. It makes up in minerals. The Andes are volcanic mountains, and their volcanic activity brought copper, nitrates, and sulfur to the surface. Salt is also abundant here. In marshy lakes, mining companies build entire towns for workers who dig up these minerals. Port cities bring out a long shoe where the minerals are shipped around the world. All food and water must be trucked in or shipped by boat. Because of the desert's unforgiving climate, miners are some of the very few people who have ever made their homes in the Atacama. Conclusion. So what can you find in the desert that you might not have expected? Lakes of salt, dense frost, an underground ocean of oils, ancient civilizations, iceberg horse herders, the mining towns. You may have thought of deserts as empty lifeless places, but for thousands of years, plants, animals, and humans have known desert as source of life, riches, and wonder. Wow!
Wow, you passed. Click on the icon. Oh yeah. Click on the. Wow, perfect score.